This year, I'm learning a lot about an epidemic that affects every one of us, heroin. And I thought I was immune to the crisis until a colleague of mine told me a sobering fact. As a doctor, I've received less training on prescribing painkillers than a veterinarian. Now think about that for a second. That statement made me realize that addiction could often start in a doctor's office like mine. So let's end that today. The use of prescription painkillers, they're known as opioids, are the fastest growing addictions in the US. It affects nearly 2 million people. 46 people die every day from these prescription pain overdoses. You know what that means? In the 1 hour that we're having this show, 2 people will have died. Now, this issue is such a crisis that we brought together 2 of the biggest groups in medicine and dentistry. Dr. Wanda Feuer is president of the American Academy of Family Physicians, and Dr. Ada Cooper is a dentist and spokesperson for the American Dental Association. Wanda, Dr. Fowler, what is it about these opioids that are an issue? What define them for us?
Dr. Oz, we're talking about opiates. Some people know them as narcotics. They're incredibly potent pain medication. They can be addicting. Sometimes they can be a gateway process to heroin and other substance abuse. They can also lead to overdoses. And unfortunately in this country, I think it's something that many of us have lost our respect for, and that's a dangerous process. We need to have a lot of respect for opiate medications and use them very carefully.
Dr. Cooper, I've heard from so many folks who say their first step into addiction started actually in a dentist's office, which I didn't understand until I thought about it. I mean, what is going on here?
You know, actually the rate of prescriptions by dentists has actually declined dramatically over the last few years, and that's largely because of the efforts of the American Dental Association. We have championed the importance of this issue for decades now. You know, what we have to do as dentists is a complex balance. What we have to do is balance the need for compassionate pain relief against the very real risks of addiction.
So here's the big question. We all agree that doctors and dentists have to play a role in this. We're all in this. However, as we get trained better, as we catch up, we need you, that's right, you sitting right there watching the show, to be part of the solution. So working closely with the American Academy of Family Physicians and the American Dental Association, we've come up with 5 important questions that you have to ask your doctor or dentist, or even your pharmacist, before you say yes to painkillers. Let's get the respect that Dr. Fowler spoke about. So question number 1, what is the goal of taking this prescription? Dr. Fowler, this is more sophisticated than it seems.
Well, and I think, Dr. Oz, this is a question you should know about all of your prescription medications. Why am I taking this medication? But opiates in particular need ultimate respect. If I say no to you, we're not going to give you this pain medication, not trying to make you suffer, but there is a real reason why this is not in your best interest. Let's try some other strategies.
And importantly, recognize that the goal of pain meds is not to get rid of all your pain. It's to reduce the pain so you can function. Too much is not better, although this is America. Question number 2, when and how should I take these pills?
You know, if you do have a dental problem, you can avoid pain and pain medication completely by getting your problem fixed immediately. If you find that you have to take pain medication, I always recommend that patients try over-the-counter products first. Ibuprofen with acetaminophen can often be even more effective than opioid medication.
I want you all to hear that for a second. We all think that narcotics are the best. Not the case.
No.
Not the case. A lot of times you can actually get better treatment with some of these other medications over the counter and are safer. But here's the other big story. Chronic pain is not well treated with pain medications.
And nerve-based pain. Yeah. Nerve-based pain, these medications don't work well at all. Don't underestimate the power of yoga. Don't underestimate the power of ice, of massage therapy. Many other things, opiates are our last resort.
Okay, question number 3. How long should I be taking these pills? Dr. Cooper, when do you say no more?
As we said, you don't have to have these pills at all. But certainly, if you do have some medication, get as little as you could possibly need. I recommend in my office that patients, if as a last resort, have no more than a 1 or 2 day supply.
Dr. Fowler, we'll give this back to you as well.
If you are at the point where you think you've taken this medication too long, you need to be talking to your family physician, because that's a red flag. And if you take that one pill and you say, gee, I like how this makes me feel, that should be your warning sign to say, I don't want to be taking any more of these. I'm headed down the wrong path.
You should feel relief, not joy, with these pills. Question number 4, are there risks from these pills?
That is an absolutely critical question. It's important to remember that everyone's risk factors vary. So you have to talk to your dentist about what your specific risks are. And the way to do that is to tell your dentist what medications you're taking. Tell your dentist what your medical history is. Tell your dentist what your experience with opioid medications has been in the past. Let your dentist know whether there's any family history of opioid addiction. Ask your dentist to call your pharmacist, call your physician in case you've forgotten to list some medications on your health history form. With all of this information, your dentist can talk about the risks, your risks specifically with you.
And question number 5 is, what do you do with the extra pills? Because there are going to be extra pills. Now that you've heard this conversation, we know there's no free lunch on this topic. So, Dr. Fry, what do you think we should do with those pills, if there are extra ones left?
Well, there's a couple things. While you're taking the medication, make sure you keep it locked up. Make sure you keep it out of the hands. If you have a house guest and suddenly they disappear, unfortunately, those things happen.
Yeah.
And
Kids are house guests, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. or they get into your purse, and the next thing you know, you've got another tragedy on your hand. But if you do have some left over, I like to tell people to use what we call a take-back program, and many communities are running those take-back programs.
Dr. Fowler pointed out to me, this is the Office of Diversion Control. That's what they call it when you take your pain meds when you're not supposed to take them. So you literally put your zip code in there, put it there. Let's put in the studio here. Actually, I put my office. That's my office, and I search. And you see, it'll tell me within 50 miles. These are all of the places I can travel and drop off my pills. Right. If you don't have an ability to go to one of these places, take the pills, crunch them up, mash them up in a coffee blender, mix them with something that's not palatable so no one else is going to ever get into them, and put them in the trash. Please don't flush them down the toilet, in the trash. So here's the thing. Most people don't realize this, but 50% of people who have opioid addictions actually got the pills from somebody else. So it's our legitimately acquired pills that are being misused, so you've got to take an action step. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, we got a big program we're going to do together. It's our jobs as parents, teachers, doctors, nurses, dentists, whoever you are, and friends, to share the 5 questions we talked about with people that you love. So we created this wallet-sized card. It's on my website. It's on our partners' websites. It's going to be available for you so you can find it, share it with people. Knowing the answers to these 5 questions will reduce your risk for becoming accidentally addicted. It was one of the first of its kind, the Unite to Face Addiction Rally, which took place recently in Washington, D.C. I came to support and take part in this historic and groundbreaking event.
Welcome to the moment that the silence around addiction ends.
Over 600 organizations gathered here to show their solidarity and declare it's finally time to end the shame and find the hope when it comes to addiction. And everyone I met had a story to share.
My brother was 20 years old when he died from an overdose. He started in 12, 13 years old with pot.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Opiate overdose that started when he was 18 years old. He was prescribed OxyContin from his doctor for back pain.
We actually had her in a detox, ready to be admitted, and she didn't meet the requirements. So they said, sorry, we can't help you. And within a couple months, she overdosed.
The rally took place on the National Mall and featured performances by Steven Tyler, Joe Walsh, Sheryl Crow, and The Fray. And we kicked it off with an anthem written specially for the event.
This is the day when the truth will shine. On broken chains we found peace of mind.
I talked to a few of the performers backstage about why they came, including Joe Walsh from the Eagles.
People who are addicted to something and want to stop, good luck.
It's tough.
It's tough. It doesn't have to be that hard.
I'm here to celebrate recovery. I think everybody knows somebody today that's in recovery and or an addict and or died from this disease.
You know, there's 20 million plus people who are in recovery, and they're usually embarrassed about being public about it. What message do you have for them?
The message is that there is help and that we're all in this together, and we're here to help each other.
But the event wasn't just about rock stars. Politicians and policymakers were here too, including the Surgeon General. It was a day about raising awareness, fighting for treatment, and most of all, celebrating the 20 million Americans in recovery, living successful lives. And celebrate we did. unforgettable day. There is help, and you are being heard. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.